Welcome to the channel. There's a lot of people who get supply, emotional supply for themselves from within themselves. They feel sorry for themselves, that gives them a sense of supply. They masturbate, that gives them a sense of self-supply. Some people, it doesn't matter where they get the supply from or how they get it or what they need to do or not do to get it, they can, without the assistance of anybody else or taking from anybody else, get narcissistic supply or sinful supply. The problem is when you come into contact with one of these people, one of these selfish, undeveloped people, you're going to be an opportunity for them to grow. Now, it may not be a voluntary thing that you want to do, but because of the way in which you've gone through life, hopefully, and learned about life, you will be able to take lessons from this person and also share lessons to this person to try and self-develop. The sinful nature is not unaware. It's very, very, very well aware of demons and darkness and the powers thereof. It's also very well aware of the Spirit of God and the presence of God, and it cringes from that. It shrinks away from that. That's why you'll get manifestations from people who otherwise are normally ordinary. You'll get these tremendous, horrible manifestations that cause these people to change. They yell, scream, shout, they cause trouble, they're envious, they interfere, they want to bring you down, they try and attack you behind your back, they try and undermine your relationship, and this happens all the time in churches. Because there is a religious power that enables the sinful nature from within Christianity, and that is to think that there's something you can do or not do to make God happy or stop him from being sad, which is a very simplified definition of the commandments, which we're forbidden to try and keep as an approach to God. Many of you don't know that, but as Christians we are forbidden to approach God under the 10 Commandments. Otherwise, if we do, we are coming under the curse of activating and arousing and giving permission to our sinful nature to influence us, deceive us, and ruin us. Not many people know that, but that's what the New Testament teaches. So we come into a relationship and then we try and, this way please, then we try and enforce our rules and regulations or the things that we are used to and believe should be applicable to life. That's what we do. And this is where the trouble starts. Some people will adapt and say, okay, that's fair, I want you in my life, I can culturalize to that, I can add that culture to my culture and blend it. But sometimes these blends these cultural blends, initially bring forth blessing. But as they mature, in some cases, rather than bring growth and fruit and foliage, they bring rottenness and horribleness and harm. Because not everybody has the right culture to blend, and I mean the right spiritual, soulish, emotional culture to blend with certain people. So initially, this is the sad part, initially things look like they're going to blend well. Everybody's getting along and nobody's complaining or anything like that. And then all of a sudden things are starting to go bad because the cultural blends begin to micro-incrementally clash. And all of a sudden this opposition rises from within, one or the other, and the next thing, the relationship starts to disintegrate. Now you add demonic powers and demonic accusations, because Satan's the accuser and so is his cohorts. You'll find that usually the flying monkeys will be accusing you behind your back, and you have to give credence to them, because if that's happening, that means the person that you're with is enabling. That means they're talking about you behind your back, be it good or bad, but it's taking away the privacy of the relationship. Now, a lot of mothers do this with their children. They'll whinge about the father subtly to the children to give them a position of influence over the children, not realizing that they're undermining the authority that the children need for their development, characteristic development. And this is a very demonic form of lifestyle today, where children have not got fathers and they need them, or the father's been undermined. Don't do it, Hank. Hank, no. No. I said no. There's some dogs in the foreground. He wants to play, and that's not his place to play. That's why I'm telling him no. I'll turn him back. Come on. So you need to be aware that things will initially always start out well. But as the problems start to form and are not being resolved, that's when you have to say, okay, that's when you need to detach. And as you detach in parallel, in unison with the unresolved, because unresolved is going to lead to trauma of one kind or another, or disappointment at least, anguish, frustration, and all those types of things that will turn on the relationship eventually anyway. Hank, come on, mate. Good boy. He listened. He's getting better. Come on. Good boy. Good boy. He's starting to listen. These things will undermine your relationship anyway. So you detach from that person. You let them know, I'm stepping back, in parallel with the unresolved. That way, if the relationship does come to a conclusion, the impact of that will not be as severe. It will give you time to process what has happened. It'll give you time to recalibrate back into your values and the way in which you think life should go for you, as long as it's fair with moral integrity, and you will protect yourself from the trauma of an intimate relationship breaking down.